So greetings to all the AIWC. Greetings to all the AIWC members who have joined us on this platform. Um, Again, a warm welcome to the members as well as the other guests who are joining us to listen to Amiya Hisham talking to us about creativity. Uh, when I thought about starting this series that we have now started about storytelling and personal experiences and creativity, one of the main agendas that I had in mind was that for a long time, AIWC members have been listening to a lot of talks on various themes. We talked about the G20 countries. We talked about other forms of representation of human experiences and human social issues. But this series of talks that we have started is mainly focused on creativity and the art of telling stories. Every human being, as we know, loves stories. And we start with the great creator who created the world for us. And it is from there the first story begins, how man came to this world. Therefore, when we talk about creativity, there is always the idea of novelty, something that is creative, something that is new, which is very central to our imagination and our perception of the world around us. When we talk about creativity, often our earlier thinking was that creativity was confined to fine arts, to literature, to the performing arts, to music, and similar artistic domains. But today it has become an integral part of knowledge, of technology, of business, of administration, you name it, education, all aspects of life, unless there is novelty, unless there is creative thinking. And as Albert Einstein said, creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else ever thought. So we all see the same thing, but we think differently. And I think Einstein was right when he said that creativity is something that is personal to each one of us. And that is why in our literary and cultural forum, we at the Trivandrum chapter, Usha and Kamini and others, thought about why don't we talk about something that is very personal, something that comes from our own experiences, something that tells a story of creativity and trying to reach out to a world which we all see, but we don't apply our thoughts to and make it different for us. And that is what this entire series is all about. Talking about creativity, as an English teacher, of course, I was searching for the etymology of the word creativity. And it goes back to very ancient times. There was no English word as creativity. It came from the Latin term creare, which means to create. So creare became creativity, create. And the first English writer who perhaps used it was Geoffrey Chaucer in his tale, The Parson's Tale, where he talked about creating something or making something new. But the term itself came into parlance and into common usage only by the age of the Enlightenment during the 18th century. So it is a beginning in the 18th century that carries us into a world of artificial intelligence, where perhaps we talk about creativity from a particularly different angle. And that is where I thought Amiya Hisham will have something new to tell us, because she belongs to a very young generation. She is a very versatile young entrepreneur who had had an education not only in architecture, but also from the University of Kerala, but also from a Master of Arts in Film Paris School of Arts. So a combination of architecture and arts makes her the right person to talk to us about creativity. if you look at her CV, I was very surprised that a young girl like Amiya should have been into so many different aspects of creativity. It is not only in writing that she has excelled. She has, in fact, edited the Students' Biennial Kochi Foundation work with a mid-career Indian artist curators, selected young artists to edit curatorial notes. She was one of them. Art and design correspondent for Scale Qatar and a freelance writer in 2020. She worked with the founder editor of Scale Qatar magazine to identify and develop articles on emerging designers and artists around the world. Today, when we look at her bio, CV, some of the things that I think I should really mention and not overlook are the skills that she has been able to master in such a short time of life. She has literary, research and art, writing, curation, team management, design thinking, teaching tools, diagramming, journaling, printmaking, a host of other things. Like, I did not know what software Adobe Illustrate, Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Photoshop, Google Office, SketchUp, etc. were, but I'm sure she's going to tell us all about that. Coming to architecture, one of our significant contributions has been to the writing of an architectural guide to Trivandrum and team management of architectural projects. She has also worked as a freelancer to design projects, including a writer's retreat, residential garden, a facade improvements, and office interiors. So it's not just writing or visual arts, but even a lot of architectural work that she has done. And as far as curating is concerned, she has in fact been a curator of Sapiens Keralium, designers community of the government of Kerala. And I must say her art, her work, her designs, her preoccupations and passions sort of merged together in the new studio that she has co-founded with a friend, Gautami NG, at Shastamangalam. And this is called the Bottega Art Studio and Gallery. So those in Trivandrum can visit the studio, and I'm sure you'll really find a range of visual arts forms there which will engage your experiences and your emotions. So I think one of the objectives of starting this studio, as she tells us, is that art is a vital form of social inquiry. And I totally agree with her. We understand society through art. We understand the world around us through our eyes. And what, as I earlier read out to you, what we think, what everybody sees, but nobody thinks the way we do, what makes us different. Her projects are interdisciplinary and take the form of research, exhibition, self-publishing, and workshop. I should say congratulations to a young architect, designer, writer, tutor, teacher of designing. So a warm welcome to you, Amiya Hisham. And I'm very proud to say that she's the daughter of an English teacher, Alpha, who was at the Women's College and for her service. And her father is a very well-renowned chemistry professor. So I think the genes are there in her, the science and the literature. And that is the combination, I think, that you find in her art and in her architecture. So let us not, in this forum, as Romy says, be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. So for each one of us, let us unfold our own stories as we listen to other stories. With these introductory words and a very warm welcome to everyone here who have joined us, and a warm welcome once again to Amiya Hisham for agreeing to be here on this platform and talk to us about your own experiences. So over to you, Amiya.
Thank you, ma'am. It was an elaborate introduction. At some points, I was, nearly on the edge of embarrassment to have so much on a CV. But like you said, it's an age where creativity is not about just one form of expression. We are also living in a time where we have the options of pursuing more than one, one undertaking. So I think it's also, some credit due to the times that we are in, and not purely, individual merit, but it's a feature of the times that we live in, the media that is available to us, and of course there is a duty to use what is available to us. And I'm glad that you gave such a nice introduction to what creativity means and its origins, and you ended with the word myth from Rumi's quotation, because that is where I start my presentation. So I'm just going to start the screen share, and I hope everybody is here. So I'm just starting it now. So let me know if it is up. It will take a moment to load. Okay, there it is. I can see it. Is everybody else able to see it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So when ma'am asked me to do a presentation on creativity, I was literally at sea, because or do I, give insight on? I cannot teach creativity. I cannot explain, what creativity means through the ages. I cannot illustrate all the forms of creativity. And then ma'am sort of made my task a little easier, and sort of anchored it by titling it Crafting Creativity. And initially I was apprehensive, because how do I craft creativity? And creativity is itself very abstract, and each person perceives it in a different way. But then I used that as a hook, and I sort of started weaving the story from there. So like I said, it felt like, the far end of the ocean, like a deep sea, or a vast sky. It's as vast as that. So where do I begin? So these images that you see, all of them will be either from my sketchbooks or from my photo gallery, or people that I know. So that is the way I've chosen to narrate creativity to this afternoon. So I hope that is helpful and engaging. So like I said, ma'am said, she ended on the word myth. So I'd like to take it from there, from myths to the word creators. She also mentioned the word creators, from the creator above to creators that we see today, like content creators, digital creators. They all come with a suffix creator. Anybody who is producing something of value, they usually they also hold titles, which have the term creator associated with it. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about the multidisciplinary space that we are fortunate to have. Like ma'am said, there is a, while she listed out the different, roles that I was able to undertake, this is very true about a lot of people that I come across today. And one of them is my associate, Gautami, with whom I started the studio. And both of us, we used to have these conversations where neither of us are able to sufficiently or adequately produce a CV. It looks like we have done everything and we are not sure if we are good at everything, but we have sort of been able to touch upon different areas. Now, and moving from there, I would like to talk a little bit about the experience of being an artist, my experience, and then I'd like to share a bit about Bottega, and especially those who are in Trivandrum. I'd like to, if you guys are around, you can visit at some point. So from the myth, the classic myth about creativity is I'm not that creative. Some of us or somebody we know have mentioned this at some point, that they feel they are not creative. But like ma'am said, creativity is not just one thing, right? So this is my mother. Although she has not said it, she feels, she finds, she says, I don't think I have the center to understand paintings, but I don't think that is true. She has the capacity to appreciate certain forms of art, writing. But she thinks, when confronted with an abstract painting, she's, she has to wonder for a second. But the good thing is, she's on board to come and visit. The next one is my uncle, who is also in this meeting. He's listening in. These pictures are from, I think, the 2016 edition of the Biennale. At that point, I was still a young graduate after my architecture course. And this edition of the Biennale was one of my favorite ones, curated by Anita Dubey. And it had the tagline of the edition was possibilities for a non-alienated life. Anyadil ninnum anyonadilekku ennulla, if I'm not sure if everybody on this call is speaks Malayalam, but it's a literal translation of possibilities for a non-alienated life. So starting from this idea, I just want you all to hold that thought for some time, this idea of a non-alienated life. So what again is creativity? Is it, the capacity to imitate nature, or drawing skills, musical talent, innovation? Is it a flair for writing, problem solving, or an ability to dance? So it could be one or more of these. It could be all of these. And it could also be none of these. It could be a very nuanced form of creativity that is difficult to appreciate in a daily life. So those of you who have taught at university, or you enjoy reading the classics, might recognize this image, the boy with the wings. It's a fabricated set of wings that his father has made for him, and the father is seated beside him. The boy is Icarus and the father is Daedalus. In Greek mythology, Daedalus is a celebrated inventor. So celebrated that he is on the edge of arrogance also, because he can create anything, he can solve anything. And in an unfortunate series of events, he finds himself and his son locked up in the jail of King Minos. And while in the jail, they are contemplating, they can see the Cretan Sea outside, and they have just a window and I think wax from their candles in their prison cells, and the feathers of the birds that visit the cell. And Daedalus, being the inventor, the creative one, he gathers the feathers, he gathers the wax, and he makes a set of wings, and they fly off the tower across the sea. And there is a tragedy associated with it, where the son is very excited, and he flies close to the sun, and the wax melts, and it's a whole story. You can look it up later. But essentially, like it was mentioned before, it comes from the Latin word creare, which simply means to make. So that is the heart of all creativity, right? Now, just wanting to go back to the title of the presentation, where it was said crafting creativity. I just want to draw attention to the word craft. So craft for me implies, some kind of tools. You will have some kind of a design in mind. You will have to have some technical skill, and you will have to need a lot of patience and practice, and essentially practice to achieve what you want, right? So how does this sit with the idea of creativity? Other than the initial few letters, they have a sort of difference, I feel, but also share similarities. So when you're concerned with craft, some of the essential features of craft is a sort of repetition, right? It's a practice. And a master craftsman is somebody who has immense practice, who has dared to address a medium, its difficulties, hone his technique, and then arrive at a product. Whereas creativity is a little bit more vast than that. How do you practice creativity? Does it have a certain fixed end form? These are the questions that I had in mind. And then I thought creativity is a pursuit that's not limited to a particular product or a certain outcome. It is rather an attitude that you can have, or an approach that you embody. And it's, nothing less than the ability to notice things around us and to respond to it from a point of view that is beyond mere survival. So you can pursue a craft and it can give you a livelihood. Can you pursue creativity and can it assure you a livelihood? This is our, especially in India, this is a big question that is still relevant today. So there are people who have expressed, extrapolated this thought much more sublimely and, in detail. One of them is R.G. Collingwood, who is an English philosopher. His essay called Philosophy of Art, fundamentally argues that art. I'm broadening it to the realm of art. That art is fundamentally expression. It is the expression of emotions and feelings. So that is the essential quality of art, right? So then, why is it that we all aspire, or we secretly desire to be creative? What made creativity so attractive as a trait to have? So I think it what it does is it brings us closer to a kind of freedom. Now you may ask, what kind of freedom? Freedom from what? Or freedom to choose? Is it that kind of freedom? What exactly does creativity assure? What form of freedom? So these are some, I will show you some of my work, perfect and imperfect work. Most of them are imperfect. And this is the space that I like to be in. So some of these are ink, calligraphy and ink on the left. There is charcoal drawings, there is print, linocut printing. So why do I, what makes me, want to try these mediums? I don't know if I am good at it. Will I be ever good at it? Will I pursue it enough to know that I'm good at it? I don't know these things, but luckily I tried all of them. So back to what we were saying, this sort of freedom to just do something just for its own sake, it brings us to that sort of, it brings us closer to our search for the meaning of life as well. This is what I believe. I just want to take you to a time in my life a couple of years ago during COVID, where we all, as humanity on the whole, it's incredible that we have all gone through that experience for 3 years, and we have come out on the other side, and here we are sitting and talking with each other over this medium that enables us to share these things, right? So there is such a common experience there. I just want to share some of the things that I did during that time. So this photograph is from the Akkulam Lake. There was very little that you could do inside the house. So I think once they laid out the protocol for going out with a little certificate saying where you will go, it was called a Satyavang Moolam, and it was a object of a lot of humor in our household, where writing the Satyavang Moolam, or the certificate of like self-attestation, became, it was funny because you will just go out to get some fresh air or to buy something, or it can be very trivial. You make up excuses to go. So I used to go to Akkulam Lake, the bridge that connects the bypass, and I would just look at the scenery there. And this is a picture from an overcast day. This is the reflection of the lake. And this is where I would, ruminate. And how do I go back to the previous slide? How do I go back? Yeah. So, and then on the other side, I also, I was becoming fidgety. And my work for Scale Qatar, a journalism project, a remote job that I pursued, it was also during this time. And I had to find a space for myself to do my work in some peace. This was my demand. So what I did was I would go out into the city and look for a studio space. I always had this in mind, but very coincidentally, when I visited a nursery nearby, a plant nursery nearby, I asked the owner, "Do you have an extra space here that you will be willing to rent out?" I was feeling a bit confident because I had a small salary that I could not use for anything else. What will I do? I cannot go out. I cannot buy much. There's no point. There were no ways to spend it. So, and the owner was very kind, and he said, "We have a small room here if you'd like to take a look." And it was a small room, about the size of a little bigger than a bathroom, but it was comfortable and it had some light, and I made a little studio space there. I put up some pictures, I put my easel, I brought some paints, and I was there by myself, spending a lot of time there. And I tried to paint. I hadn't painted in a long time. So I thought I'll start painting. Maybe, I will follow that through and I'll start, my art career here. That didn't happen right away. And, the road ahead just, lay just as bleak as this picture that you see. This is the Akkulam bypass. There are more stories about this picture that I would like to say. For example, I noticed, there's a whole roost of swallows that are the bird swallow that are living under the bridge, and there's a lot of things to observe even in this barren picture, right? So then I, after some time, I had to find some bearing, some form of expression. And I had very little, in terms of a kind of mind space or, materials or just privacy even. And I found some what I used to do was I used to throw away stuff from the house, and some interesting material I would hold on to. And one of them was the transparency sheet that you see, which was used for the overhead projector long ago. So it's obsolete. Nobody uses the transparency sheet anymore. OHP paper, it's called. So I started, my father had huge bundles of them, and they were just sitting around and, growing old. I took these and I thought I'll just, start painting on them. I mean, they weren't pictures or anything. It was just painting random splashes of colors on these surfaces. And then I began to roll them up. And then once I saw that, once I saw many rolls, I was sort of inspired to tie them together because they looked like a raft. And at the back of my head, all these stories, sentiments, all of these started taking a shape of its own. And I started calling it a raft, right? We seem to be lost at sea. We are stuck in COVID. And I am looking for a raft out of this. And it's made from some kind of memories. During that time, I came across an open call from G5 Art Foundation, which is a similar space in Mumbai. where they opened. So they also suffered from COVID, and they had to find a way to keep going on even while everything was closed. So they sent out open calls for publishing in their art magazine. And I thought, okay, maybe this has a chance. And it had uh, 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 it had the topic as vibrance, hue, and color. So this seemed to fit perfectly. So I took some photographs, I did some photo editing, I took my liberties in photo editing, and I sort of tried to convey what I was thinking during that time. So with just what was available to me, I was trying to tell a story in a sense. So these are images from that, and they were happy to accept, and it was published there. And for the first time, I had a sense that there are others who can sort of look a little bit more deeply at images and maybe appreciate them. So that was a very significant moment for me. It sort of bolstered my confidence back then. So coming back to the idea of creativity as freedom, there is a German philosopher that I really like called Hannah Arendt. Most of you might have come across in your studies or in your profession. So she had authored this wonderful essay called "The Freedom to be Free," and she writes this in the context of totalitarianism, or dictatorship regimes, and the aspects of what forms a totalitarian climate. So she talks about freedom there, and she associates it with action. So in her view, freedom comes from action, and action belongs to the public realm. So whatever you might do, it has to be be witnessed or engaged with by a public, and that is how you find your way to freedom. Now it's not freedom from something, or freedom to choose between this thing or the other, but it's a different kind of intrinsic freedom that she's talking about. And when she talks about action, she mentions two features about action. One is the plurality, like I said before. It has to be in participation with the public, in that it cannot be isolated. And this action is also related to natality. Natal, opposite of fatal. It signifies a birth, right? So a birth in the sense, a beginning. Now at the beginning of this talk, Jamila ma'am had talked about new beginning, something new. So creativity is very related to doing something new. And the word that Hannah Arendt uses here is a beginning. The ability to begin anew each time. So it's a freedom that is not so much about freedom from or freedom to choose, but it's rather a freedom that says something more like I will and I can. Now this is so simple, and it doesn't get simpler than this. I will and I can, right? This image is from some children drawing on an acrylic board with just water. So the water dries up after some time and the canvas is blank again. So they are beginning new. So each person comes, they are beginning anew each time, right? So another new beginning that I was fortunate to have at that point of time was, once the COVID rules were relaxing, I was able to apply for my MA, and I was able to travel to Europe. And this had a significant, effect on me. I was out in the open again, at a very basic level. I was able to be in the public realm again, but I was also alone. I was struggling to, you know, read the cultural code, the cultural differences, the priorities of people. But I was also learning to make new friends again, visit new places. So I think it did me a lot of good to begin anew at that point of time. What I observed was that art was not just in the galleries, it was also out there on the streets. And there was this unanimous appreciation for the arts. It was like the lifeblood of a whole population, of a whole people. And that was very refreshing for me. To be immersed in such a culture was an enormous thrust for pursuing the arts further for me. And then, over a period of time, I began to reconsider some of the ideas I had about art, or creativity, or expression. And slowly, although I hadn't read Hannah Arendt back then, I realized it was not only individual but also a collective phenomenon, the experience of art. And it was a pursuit from beginning to beginning. So there is a search for new beginnings at every instant. I think these are the things that are universally experienced by artists all over, or anybody with the creative mindset. Now we live in a world of creators, and in Semitic religions, especially Judeo Islamic and Christian traditions, the word creator was held with such reverence, that is, the act of making or to create was so close to God, that it was not for the normal folk. But now we are living in a world where every second person is a creator. And most likely they are digital creators. In a way, it is good, because creativity, when used with a bearing for humanity, it is good for everyone, right? So I like this picture. This is from, I think I took this picture in Fort Kochi last year sometime. I was watching this person. We have all played with this at some point. Gear drawings, it was called. It's a set of gears in a stencil. And if you move your ball pen, in a certain way, you will be able to produce these highly regular, geometrically perfect forms, almost like, produced by a computer. So this is, very, unhumanly to simply produce by hand. But if you look closely at this picture, this person has used that, and he has gone beyond its simple output. He has made a bouquet of flowers, for instance. He has made, shell-like forms. So he has extrapolated that tool or that particular output to something that is, coming from his own experience, perhaps. And he's doing this in public on a small kiosk, a little wooden box by the beach for everybody to see. And he's selling some of the prints, and I think he was selling the gear set also for the passers-by. So I like this image just to explain how, we may have a certain set of tools, or we may have a certain set of ideas about how art should be, but they are very mutable, right? Another significant new beginning for me was my time at the Kochi Biennale. This was a time where I worked both, at my individual capacity, but also in cooperation with a lot of different people with very different temperaments, very different outlooks, very different caliber and capabilities. And you can either see it as utter chaos or extreme, beauty or celebration of life. So pleasantly for me, it was the latter. And I was able to make some very good friends from this experience. And some of them are still in touch. And once I came back to Trivandrum, I was happy to, I was different in the way that I no longer sat at home. I was okay to wander out, work with people. And on the left that you see is my partner Gautami and our friend Ria. This is from one of the ideation sessions we had with a huge group of organizers for this program. We had to curate one particular pavilion at the event called Keralium. And it was such a pleasure to work with so many creatives who are very good at doing what they do, and how they were able to bring all facets of that effort into a tangible outcome. On the right, what you see is a workshop that I did. It was an experimental workshop that I did at Avani Institute of Design in Kozhikode. So they had never made a paper collage before. So I did this little exercise with them where I gave them only 2 minutes, 5 minutes. And I said, you have glue, you have some, magazine papers. I'm just going to, set the timer. And people who had never made a collage in their life before, they made fabulous collages. I don't have the pictures here, but in a different interaction, I can share them also. This is more images from Keralium. So for me, I do have, I do have my limitations while working in a big group, because as a person individually I'm sort of shy, and I have certain traits which inhibit me from taking part in huge gatherings. But it was worthwhile. I sort of had to learn the hard way over time that the outcome of that is much more than the fear that I have about going into such spaces. So, we are living in a time where the social acceptance of these sort of creators or multidisciplinary professionals, or the artist or the creative, has increased. So that is a huge, progress, I feel, which is why a lot of people are able to do what they are able to do now. I think I already touched on the multidisciplinary space. Now, what did I have left to do? I have now engaged in the multidisciplinary space, and now I want to, keep continuing this practice, right? So, one thing that I also felt important was to share a part of that experience with people who are close to me. So this meant visiting galleries and art spaces, performances, such events with family members, with friends, people who think they are not creative, or they are creative only in a certain way. So this was a practice that I felt was important, also for my own peace and sanity. And also it mostly comes out of a place of sharing that experience. It's never the same going through a gallery by yourself as compared to going with somebody, because that somebody might see something that you never saw, and the exchange that comes out of that is very beautiful. For example, on the right side, you can see Gautami and my mother looking at some abstract paintings by Trivandrum-based artist George, and they were talking about how difficult it might have been to produce such a consistent texture, or how it reminded them of a sari that they might have seen or had long ago. So these are the conversations that came out of it, and memories and images and all of that. The second picture is my sister and my mother. My sister's standing behind my mother and looking at a drawing by Vivan Sundaram, if I'm not mistaken. Vivan Sundaram is a celebrated artist. Those who are familiar with the art world would know. He had just passed away, and it was in the last edition of the Biennale. My sister, who is in IT, I think she was afraid to draw, but in the past year, one thing she is good at is at showing up. So she has been doing watercolors for several months now, every day in her little notebook, and I see how it's getting better with each day. Another important, this is my nephew, my sister's son. These occasions I really enjoy, because there is absolutely no inhibition. It's just boundless possibility when I spend time with him and draw. And just to touch upon the idea of freedom that we talked about earlier, children experience freedom from a point of I will and I can. There is absolutely no hurdle for them. There are no obstructions, no obstacles. And this is the kind of freedom that I think we should try to aspire for. This is just an image. Gautami and I had conducted a workshop some time back, and these are 6-year-olds. We introduced to them the idea of paper collage and storytelling, and a group of students, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds barely, they made the story as they went, and they had a whole story of people in great people in the house, and these rockets. I forget what the story was, but nothing stopped them. There was absolutely no pressure of logic or any of that in their activity. Okay. So that was the world of creatives, and now I want to go to the definition of, or rather the experience of being an artist. For a long time, I was hesitant to introduce myself as an artist. I would rather say I draw, or I can write, or I would just pick on one of the things that I could do, depending on what the context was. But more and more, I think there is a duty to own that role as an artist more, and to introduce myself that way. So this is from last year. Last year was also another new beginning. Now that I started counting new beginnings, I realized that life is full of new beginnings. This was just before assembling an art installation at David Hall in Fort Kochi. And the installation consisted of a lot of dry leaves. That was the main building material of my installation. And as you can see in the background, I've just roughly placed where I will locate all these images, or how much leaf material I would want, and all of that. I'm just beginning to prepare. This was the work. I have the last time that I did an installation was in my college back in 2011, between 11 and 15 maybe, in the very safe environment of an architecture college. So there is no judgment because you made an installation. They would judge you maybe for the content of the of the installation, but there was no judgment that you made an installation or you chose to express something very abstract. And this was a very personal work for me. The various elements of this work, they are sort of representative of the landscapes that we have been in. It reminds me of my father's home, how that home is sort of decaying and becoming old, and there is a duty to maintenance, and the sort of idea of cradle. We call it our ancestral home, but we are no longer able to inhabit that space in the same way. So there are several layers to this project, which I can share in a different time. There were others who participated. So this installation was not a solo effort. It came with a lot of help, and what you see there is 3 of my friends. All of them volunteered. On the right is Gautami, on the left is Sarah, and at the back is Ashwin. One of the startling experiences of this project was that nobody had to know the full story. They were ready to onboard with the project. So there was a lot of help that came in, and we put together the program in like 5 days, and it was well received. There was a lot of visitors to the exhibition, and while people enjoyed the exhibition in the adjacent room, me and Gautami were, hatching our next plan. So we were ideating something here, and which sort of took the shape of bottega. Now, bottega means it's an Italian word. It's an Italian word which means an artist's workshop or workplace where other artists also collaborate, right? And we formed a logo. We had a vision. So broadly, it is to create a world where art is an integral part of people's lives and a medium of expression, research, and inquiry. So art is capable of enunciating ideas in a much more persuasive, emphatic way than some of the noble professions that bring about change. So we wanted to open doors to this idea. Last year on August 24th in Shastamangalam, we inaugurated this space. It's a wonderful old building. And with the help of our friends, we were able to put together the debut exhibition. It was a sketchbook exhibition. We wanted to make it accessible and not unapproachable because it is an art space. Over the course of the last year, we have had a host of programs which included workshops where both young and old people of all walks of life join our programs. There are people who are extreme professionals or experts, specialists in their field, and there are complete beginners also. We have public oriented programs like cinema viewings and human libraries. We have performances. So just to wind up, we are on our second last slide now. This is a quote that I had written on the back of one of my notebooks long ago. It says, a human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, con a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wall, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, solve equations, analyze a new problem, pitch manure, program a computer, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, and die gallantly. So this is a science fiction writer and an aeronautical engineer called Robert Heinlein. And I found this very close to the definition of creativity that I like. It is a balance of opposites. It is a balance of the individual as well as the communal. It is, the mundane as well as the exciting. And there is a nobility about being able to do all of this. Not these exact items, but the ability to be so versatile over a lifetime. So just back to the idea of craft. This is again something new that I was trying some time back. It did not work out well. But however small our efforts are, I think they all have a grander place where it would be appreciated, and it's just up to us to find where that place is. This is the gallery, the exit gallery of the Louvre Museum. And once you exit one of the galleries, you come into this huge light-flooded atrium. It's pointing towards the sky. And I think it's a very inspirational moment when you are there. Just to come back to the title, I think creativity is a practice, and it's a practice of freedom. So thank you for bearing with me for so long.
Thank you. Thank you, Amiya, for that very interesting presentation. I must say it was so many beginnings that you had has taken you on the journey of life. And I think that journey of life has been fraught with so many beautiful things because you love life. And I think from what you have presented, the feeling that I get is that whatever little things that you find around you are an inspiration. And I'm sure that those who have been listening to you have all in their minds also you have been able to bring a spark that recreates for them personal experiences, personal moments of creativity. So now I open the forum for discussion, and I request the members who are here to make comments, ask questions. Actually, I would like to know a little more about your studio. And what are the things that you are doing there? What's the kind of extension work that you do, not just in the studio, but outside as well, because you're an architecture student. You are also involved with interior designing, things like that. So before you answer that, I would like to allow the others to ask the questions. Yes. Kamini?
Yeah, it's so wonderful, Amiya. Very slowly, you had brought us along a journey of art. So we also have come to know that you're a great artist. Okay. Now, your idea of creativity, you have said, is freedom, practice of freedom, isn't it? That's what even I think the psychologists, if you go to psychologists, they also express the feeling that when you draw or when you make a pot out of clay, or anything related to art, that means you give vent to your emotions. And you feel better after you do. Isn't it, Amiya? Yeah? No, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I just turned off the mic. So yeah, it is true that when you decide to use your hands or make something, you just readjust the balance, whereas if you don't make, you will sort of brood or you will dwell on other things. And so if you take your whole existence with respect to society, if you can produce, you are also contributing, and that would keep you afloat in some sense, in a psychological sense, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, if your presence is bringing somebody else some happiness, or something that you drew is lights a smile on someone's face.
Exactly.
It's worthwhile.
And another thing is, as you have rightly pointed out, an artist was not that well recognized those days. But as you said, it's recently that there is social acceptance of the artist. This may be because of the social media, isn't it?
I think it's also it's true. It's yes and no to this idea, because long ago we had a tradition of patrons for the arts, and it was an undertaking by the monarchy or royals, in fact. But that set of that definition of art also had its limitations. So it was produced and consumed by certain sections of the society, and there was there was a patron culture that sort of fueled it. This was also true in Europe, as you know, from the Renaissance. All of them had patrons and financiers who, anybody who flourished, the names that we know today. For example, Leonardo da Vinci had the Borgias, and he had the support from the church. And so it's organized, it was organized in some way. Now, with the democratization of media and transportation or mobility, the individual is able to step into those shoes.
And you have this Cochin Biennial. All these are places where the artists are brought in, isn't it? Cochin.
I think it has actually moved from allied spaces to public spaces.
Public space, and you have gathering like this. You have gathering like Cochin
Biennial. And that is the way in which art is made available, and the notion of creating art is also born in every individual, whether
modern days, you have a lot of artists coming together
or to the allied.
So
I think
opportunity is there for the artist. So I would also like to know more about your bottega or whatever. So
I think we'll wait till the end for that, for the bottega.
So thank you, Amiya. That was wonderful. Okay.
I'm Rama Anutram from Hyderabad.
Amiya, please go ahead.
Hearty congratulations. You're a brilliant artist, and it's a pleasure hearing you and seeing your art. And I think we should congratulate your parents also, who have given you such excellent exposure at an age.
Thanks is due there also. I think they had a basic appreciation for the arts. I think that is significant privilege to have, I think.
And you also come from the land of Ravi Verma, where you say where they needed the appreciation of the royalty and things like that. But nevertheless, your work is amazing. It's interesting. And then it's almost like an art school that's developing, where you've got your studio, as I notice it. So it's a fantastic profession. And there's something called Jahangir Art Gallery in Bombay, and Institute for Performing Arts. These two places, both are in Colaba, where every week artists display their art. One is painting, and performing arts. There are many other arts also which come through. If you have an opportunity, you should go and stay in Bombay sometime and expose yourself to that particular bit, where it's amazing bit of diaspora of art which comes through there. And the other thing that I appreciate is your leadership from the background, that you're working with everybody. Like, in the sense, you're not leading from the front, you're pushing them all from behind and taking it forward, which is like a fantastic teacher, whatever. You're really good, and I hope you do very well.
Thank you.
God bless. And all your quotes are quotable. Very good, beta. God bless, and do very well. Thank you, Jamila and Kamini, Usha, for exposing me to this. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to share some of that credit with anybody who has put up with me, starting from my family and my friends and my current partner. There's a lot of one element that I probably did not mention is there's a lot of transaction of patience in this process. It takes a lot of time for everybody to understand this sort of pursuit. And there's a lot of patience that is given and taken in the process, I think.
There has been appreciation for art all through. There I beg to differ, because every country expresses their civilization only through art and museum. Where whenever we go anywhere, we first pile up to look at what's the museum, what's their art and things like that. It's been there. like you said, but it's been patronized, perhaps.
Yes.
So but then there are artists. It's a pity. I mean, some kind of a professional appreciation and some must be now. Now, of course, art is dying now because of the computerization and AI. I find children also they're just putting it to Chat GPT and things are coming out. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So the creativity has to be instilled. So this you must put into the schools, that
Yeah,
to put them away from the computer, and this is the time to reinvent the art in the minds of the children, and you should do some efforts about it.
yeah.
Thank you all,
Rama.
madams.
Any others who would like to make
Thank
comments?
you, ma'am.
Please unmute.
Thank you.
Please unmute and make your comments. Bhuneshwari?
Amiya ji, it is really nice to see the very simple and interesting presentation. Actually, what happens is, like Jamila ji said, creativity and things like that. We may notice something, the other person will be noticing something different and something added to that. So we will, that is how it is. So that was a wonderful presentation. Just wanted to ask you one thing. This Avani studio you had, it's in Chalapuram, Kozhikode, no? Because I belong.
It's a school. It's a school of design in. No, that is their art initiative. Chalapuram has a art initiative by Avani. Yeah.
Avani, I've seen that.
Yeah.
That is just next to my own
Oh,
place.
okay.
That's that's why I asked. Okay. How long you were there?
I was there for almost a year, from 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, we have many people from Kozhikode joined here today. That's why I especially wanted to say about that. And of course, this creativity, what you said is correct. If it is directed at good of the humanity, that is good. Creativity can be otherwise also. So,
Yeah,
but
creativity can be used in very wrong ways these days.
very wrong way also, but you have done so well. It's very nice. And yeah, I like the transparency sheets that you use, the one which has come very nice, the nicely rolled up, and the whole initial picture plus the next picture, we showed a number of them. Everything
Glad
had
to
a
hear this from you, because I would never imagine, a senior teacher person, being able to onboard with such ideas. It's
But
really
it looks
nice.
beautiful, It looks very sweet, very nice. Very
Yes,
nice.
every role gave a different. You can imagine many things with that. Each role, it can be seen as a head of something like that. So
And
that
it
was
had different colors and the way it
different
was
colors,
woven.
and that
There's
was
an
very cute
individuality.
thing.
Yeah, what
I
I
like that.
felt was that there was an individuality as well as a collective feeling of all of you together, a message that seemed to be conveyed. I
And I'm
think
sure
Koljit ji had something to say.
I'm sure your parents would be now, I mean, they might have had some apprehensions about this thing at the beginning. Of course, I can understand because we also in that
I
position.
think artists are united in that. I think there are apprehensions
My
everywhere.
own son is in the not this field, some film field. So I know how apprehensive we were, how worried we were till he became, sort of
Independent.
okay and settled. Now I'm sure they will be proud of you, your work. Okay, nice.
Thank you.
Koljit ji had unmuted. Would you like to say something?
Hello, Jamila ji. I missed your beginning comments also. Now I'll have to go to the YouTube for that. The whole presentation was beautifully given, very mesmerizing, very softly and slowly. She let us peep into the life of an artist, how the personality is developed, how she developed and she progressed from one stage to another stage, how she helped other also to become creative, and how she has studied the psychology of the small children, especially the photograph of his nephew, the way he is painting. I will and I can. That is the message he has also conveyed. It was beautifully done, really, I'm taken to another world by this presentation. Thank you so much, Amiya. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone?
I also like that photo. I like all of these photos where he's drawing. It's always.
And one of the things I noticed about your photos was they are always taken from the back.
Back.
Of the individual who is looking at the photo or the frame of the paintings. Something
Probably
like this.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it that way.
Ramaji mentioned motivating others. You at the back, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe mostly I'm at the back.
I know, motivating the others, but you're at the back.
I think my work partner Gautami is also like that. I think these are some things where we sort of had a good rapport on, like we'll support from the back.
Would Gautami like to say something? She's also here, I understand.
She's here.
Was here. I don't know if she's here.
Gautami is here.
I am here. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just very happy to see Amiya's journey being spoken of like this. I mean, I have never till now sat down and like listened to the entire story, so it felt good. And yeah, it feels good to listen to all of you talking about creativity. It's very beautiful to hear. Yeah.
It's very heartening to hear, like, because we are used to probably a kind of crowd, and it's always nice to be in different spaces to see. It's good to see that there are a lot of people who appreciate art and like to participate,
because this is the expression of emotions.
Yeah.
And when you see the painting, you can see the emotions behind that. Of course, hard work is also there. That is expression of your character and personality.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And the photo that you had of the painting, the 3 abstract paintings, which look like saris on a rope or something like that. Because when you see the pictures, the different shades and the way it has been artistically woven together. It would have been good if you could have given us a closer view of it so that we could have we could know the texture.
I didn't get which one this was.
The three almost similar kind of abstract paintings that you had.
Yes, yeah, the charcoal and the line drawings and
See, actually, according to me, creativity is also part of culture, because among the Brahmin houses we put the kolam, that's creativity. Then you have the rangoli. For all the functions in North India, we have rangoli. And what about Attapu in Onam time?
Yeah.
All those shows that there is creativity is part of culture.
Yeah, I think creativity has an element of ritual. Like I said, in one of the final slides, the word that I wanted to use was practice, a practice of doing something. So I think there is an element of practice in the mindset of creativity.
Yeah.
Probably not.
His hand, what do you call it? Henna. What is the henna? What is it called?
Henna.
There's so many designs are put for weddings and all that. So also shows creativity.
Everybody wanted to say something. She has unmuted.
Who?
Kala?
Kala?
No.
Yes.
Precious.
Go ahead.
Kala is not there.
Can you hear me?
Kala, we can hear you. Just speak up.
It was a very innovative and inspiring talk. As a person who writes a little bit of poetry, I feel so inspired now. The words, I will, I can, are really very inspiring. And thank you, Amiya, for your wonderful presentation, and all the best for all your future activities. Thank you.
And all the best to you too.
There are no more comments or questions. Shall we go to Bottega and ask
Yeah.
Amiya to tell us more about Bottega.
There you go.
Yeah, if the questions are done, I can talk a bit about Bottega. So it is in Shastamangalam, Trivandrum, and the two of us are there most of the time. We have a range of programs, ongoing activities there. So there are some public facing programs like talks or film screenings, or we had a human library session last month from a
What do
experiment.
you mean by human library?
So you can borrow a book from a library, right? And in a similar way, you can borrow a person and speak to them for some time. So nowadays, people don't speak to people. I'm guessing this is very new for this generation, because more and more people are inhibited to talk to a stranger or
Strangers.
so to encourage that, to see other people's experiences, we thought we can create a respectful space where they share each other's stories over a common theme. So we have some areas of interest that we look into. Some of them are art and ecology, how art can come into the service of fighting climate change, or interventions for ecological balance. So there is a huge role that art can play to persuade people in power, or those who can leverage certain things for, like, better outcomes. So art has a role in that, and we feel in Trivandrum, we are close to a lot of educational institutions where young people have a lot of good ideas, whether they are in engineering colleges or art and design colleges. And we would like to become a bridging space where we create projects that can harness the ideas and talents and of different sorts of professions, and steer some change towards these things. Another area that we are interested is in gender and public space and all that. This was our discussion point in the last human library. Similarly, we also hold workshops that sometimes communicate this idea. For example, when we talk about a pottery studio and having a printmaking studio, the basic idea is that we return to a slow living in a way, so you use your hands, you use your time perceptibly, and you are able to create something of value. And while the outcome is not probably directly related to an ecological cause, the practice of being in such undertakings would bring people into greater appreciation. So nowadays there is a term called time poverty, where people say they don't have the time. They are pulled in all directions by different pursuits, and they are unable to perceive time well. So they are always scrolling or doing this and that. So these
I
are
like this concept about the human library. I was wondering what it was,
Very interesting.
We have Alpha here, who is Amiya's mother. We would like Alpha to unmute and tell
I
us
will mute
how
here.
she was able to promote Amiya's interest and what is
I
the
think
role she has played?
I was not, I was difficult to steer in a proper path. Probably that was it. I'll mute now.
Is Alpha here?
Maybe she's struggling how to turn on the mic.
Okay.
She's there.
She's here, but her
She's there.
mic is, yeah, she
You
has
can hear?
unmuted. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Alpha. We would like to hear your comments.
Yeah, she had been uh, she was different from the other two kids right from a very young age because she always wanted to express something. She doesn't know, we do not know. So she would cry. So I was always thinking that maybe, I didn't take it the conventional way of a cry baby. No, I thought she had to say something, but she can't. That's why. And then when she grew up, she was also very special than for the other two. She would, the way she would do things, her home assignment, it would be so very different from the
The
other two.
other two are not on this video call.
Yeah, luckily.
Could
Yeah.
have been turned into something else.
So I
If the other
don't know.
two
No,
Normally,
don't leave, Amiya. We still need you there.
so and then she had a chance of she had a chance to work with one. I think she was friend, a lady who came into the campus. We were at Sultan Qaboos University, Makkah. So she would come with a lot of paints, and she would just sit. And
If,
she,
if
amid the
you
kids.
want a whole bio, she will start from
Yeah.
from 3
And
years
then
old.
so that was the kind of thing that she displayed as a
No,
child. So she would
we'll make it
draw.
very brief. Yeah,
Yeah, she
Alpha,
would
make
paint,
it very
etc.
brief. So
And then
you
if you
don't
grew up,
embarrass Amiya.
yeah, when we grew up, people think, oh, she can draw, she can do this. Let her take architecture. So there is a lot of art inside that. But the thing I found later on was that in that course, the first parts are humanities, the art history or art, all these things. That fascinated her more than the actual drawing part of things. That was very laborious for her. So after that, I think that she pursued the first part of that architecture thing, and then, like one of the mothers said, that we are apprehensive, how she can make a life out of this, a career out of this. It was not clear for us in our society. That's not clear for us. That's a problem. But then now she has given me a clarity what she is doing, what she wants to do. So it's a kind of invisible kind of service that she is doing. It is like lighting one lamp. No, she's not doing a big whole, no, lighting up the whole, no. What I think is that she's doing her bit of thing to lighten up the life immediately around her, and that will go on in a special way. That is how I am understanding her. And creativity
Yeah.
for me, it is like holding a hydrogen balloon or a helium balloon in your hand and let it go. It would disappear into its ecstatic heights. You wouldn't know how it is like. Only
Yeah,
that
that is,
person would know.
I think
Yeah.
that is why she said, new beginnings. Every time she finds
Yeah,
it.
no, that's her world.
Yeah,
That's her
there
world.
is a block.
I
Then
should
she
admit
goes
that I
on to your
accepted it very
things.
late, very, very late. But I am very proud of my child.
Yeah, we are all very proud to have Amiya here
Also
with us.
proud of her.
But I know Kamini teacher remembers me in
Yeah,
women's.
I was about to ask you, na? I was about to ask you.
Yeah.
How are you, Alpha?
Yeah, fine, fine. I'm doing a
So,
course now, even now, just to
uh-huh.
engage myself. Yes,
Very good. When did you retire?
13, 2013.
Okay.
Usha, would you like to add something to?
Yes, if all the questions and comments are over.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that was a very interesting presentation. And we were sort of, following your growth, your evolution as an artist. Like step by step, you were telling us how you went on that journey and where you have reached. So up to the installation that you showed us, which was very, very interesting. And the human library that now you are talking about, the Botica. So, your growth as an artist right from the beginning has been very interesting, and you presented it so well. So it is like, going into the mind of an artist and trying to find out why he or she is an artist. So you gave us a clue to what we were always wondering about. Then about creativity, I like the last the quote that you had put up, like about changing diapers and any small job. So
Yeah.
that way, that has been my idea also, because creativity is not just something that is in arts and writing and things. It is there around us in every little job we do. I read somewhere that every job has the signature of the person who has done it. So if it is, even as simple as hanging out your washing, you can see the clothesline and you can see the difference in the personalities of the people who are doing it.
Exactly.
Does it in a very neat way, somehow you are attracted by it. Somebody may just throw it over the clothesline and forget about it. Like that for in every job we do from day to day, there is a lot of creativity involved. And that is what was brought out in that one quote, which I really liked. And the another thing that I picked up from your presentation is I like going for art exhibitions, to galleries, and I used to do a lot of that earlier. Now, of course, in Trivandrum it is much limited. But then I always went alone, thinking that that your interaction with the painting or whatever is there is very personal. So I didn't like to go with somebody, because then you get into discussions and then it is very different. So I always went alone. But now you have given the idea that if you go with someone, maybe you get a new perception about the whole thing. So next time maybe I'll take somebody along, so that we know how differently we think or how alike we think. So thank you so much, Amiya, for that very interesting presentation. And I think Jamila must have already told you, we have the series of lectures, one every month. And we have already completed with, this is the 52nd lecture that we have hosted. Right from the time of COVID, we have been carrying this on. So I hope you will stay connected and be part of our sessions more often. Whenever there is a topic that is of interest to you, please join. And we would really love to have you with us. And you can also be associated with All India Women's Conference. It is a 100-year-old national women's organization. And we have branches all over India. Like you just saw that people have joined from Hyderabad and Delhi and all different places. So please be associated.
And as Usha said, we have recorded this and this will be on YouTube. So a lot more of our members will be seeing it at their own pace and at their own time. But one thing I would like to add to what Usha said is, Amiya, we have a WhatsApp group, which sort of has a group of all the people who have given presentations here. So, and we make it a point to send out our invitations for every session that we have. So probably you'll be receiving one shortly. And the next one, as I said last time, will be by Malashri Lal. And she will talk on the treasures of Lakshmi, the goddess who gives. So those are the stories that she has put together in a book along with Namita Gokhale. And that will be our presentation for the next time. So thank you all who have joined us and for the wonderful presentation, Amiya.
Thank you for listening
I
also.
wish you all the best to go on your journey from success to success. And we will all be watching you with a lot of...
all the best.
Yeah, with a lot of love and care that you go on to create a name for yourself. So I would like to conclude this session with Osho's words. This is what he said. To be creative means to be in love with life. You can be creative only if you love life enough that you want to enhance its beauty. You want to bring a little more music to it, a little more poetry into it, and a little more dance to it. So let us note on this, close on this very positive note. So thank you all once again.
Thank you all for listening.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, and hope to see you all at the next session.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.